Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. This is the Age of Sigmar Stat Center, where every Monday I go through the event results over the weekend. We talk about the emerging meta, we look at lists, we talk about the players that have done well. Sometimes we get to look at the venues they've happened. We get interviews and photos sent to us from all around the world. It's very exciting, and we get to declare who is the big winner boy this weekend, which I'm very excited about. As always, a special thank you to Warhammer Rob, who brings all of the good information, different Rob to me, for us to help digest this, and who I know is helping me work, or is working on, and I'm helping him work on some stats and also some rankings in the future, which I'm looking forward to. This weekend is actually some big news from this weekend, and I'm particularly happy to be saying this because I was on the phone with these guys a couple of years ago, and I love where they've ended up. So this weekend, we had our largest singles event since the Las Vegas Open in 2024. And that took place in Germany at the Raccoon Rumble, which is a yearly event held in Germany alongside a 40K event. They had a big German contingent, as well as a bunch of players from the Czech Republic. They had a bunch of players over from Norway and Sweden, and a couple of other players as well, and also Austria. But what's exciting for this, the German event organizers, which will be Mini Paradies, so Mini Para and then Dice at the end TV, who have a Twitch channel where you can go and watch the games from the weekend, but it is in German. But go check that out if you would like to do so. They've been able to run this huge event going from strength to strength from a couple of years ago all the way up to now 190 players this weekend. So that does put this weekend's event results as 283 players across the weekend. This does not include the 90 players that were playing at Warhammer World in a team event this weekend as well. So we're looking at closer to nearly 400 people playing competitive Age of Sigmar across the weekend, which is excellent, as well as I know there were dozens and dozens of little one-dayers. So, you know, what are sometimes called RTTs. So I think probably it's fair to say had at least 500 people playing tournament Age of Sigmar this weekend, which is wonderful to see. The Raccoon Rumble, which we're going to dive straight into straight away, was a 6-round event where those rounds were held. 1 round was held on a Friday, the Friday night, 3 on the Saturday, and 2 on the Sunday. The reason for so many rounds, I'm assuming, is because of how many players there were, 190 players. In the US, normally they have 3-day events, where normally you'll play like singles events, you'll play, about 6 rounds or something similar over the Friday and Saturday, and then you get split out into a top 8 on the Sunday. So different places do different things, especially when you have such a large pool of people. And the reason that they do that is normally because what they want to do is try to find a true winner. They want to find someone who's more likely to have won, or maybe they just want to give more people more opportunity to play more Warhammer, which is good as well. Also, a great thing about the Raccoon Rumble, and a reason I am a huge fan of them and a huge fan of their community and the German community in of themselves, is they take themselves actually seriously. A good opportunity to showcase this would be to show off their boards. So if you're watching this, if you're not listening right now, not watching right now, do look up, and you can see these boards are all really lovingly put together, and they're all themed, and they look excellent. And they look fantastic, and it's great that they can have these out there for the communities to play on, which is great, because that's exactly what you want. We do not want Age of Sigmar to look like competitive 40K. Competitive 40K looks like garbage. We want competitive Age of Sigmar to look like this. So thank you to the organizers of the Raccoon Rumble, I'm going to shout them out right now, for making events that we can be proud of to say that we're part of the community. So a special shout out to Jonathan Shep, Marco Feldrap, and Mini Paradise as well, and the judges Henry Wolf, Jan, and Wolfgang as well. Okay. With that all said and done, let's go and look at who did well at the event. And our first big winner, boys, this weekend is Dario, who is the back-to-back winner, having won last year with his Big War army. A back-to-back winner, so won the event last year and now has won the event again with his Osssiarch Bone Reapers. And also in the undefeated bracket, so the 6-0 bracket, is Dominic, and Dominic was taking Disciples of Tzeentch. So yeah, in our undefeated bracket, Dario and Dominic. So Osssiarch Bone Reapers and Disciples of Tzeentch. And this continues the Osssiarch Bone Reaper dominance that we did talk about last week, and also Disciples of Tzeentch dominance that we talked about last week as well. LRL nowhere to be seen. What are in the list? I hear you cry. So So yeah, this list is not necessarily like the most cerebral list that we're going to see in Age of Sigmar. Grand Light's Death, Osssiarch Bone Reapers with the Kavalos Lance. The Manifestation Law was the horrors of the Necropolis. The General's Regiment was Kakarros, and then there was 3 times 10 Death Riders, a unit of Mortek Guard, and a Mortisan Soul Mason, and the Terratic Cohort. This is what we would call an alpha pin list. I'm going to make a video about it this week. Hold me to that. I'm going to hold me to that because I think this is something that's pretty common in several of the lists that we've seen, or several of the list archetypes and styles. And I haven't yet made a big deep dive kind of tactics video for Age of Sigmar 4, but I guess we're now starting to get into the stage where we're far enough into the GHB that we can start looking at these tactics as mature and actionable things. So yeah, I think we've seen a lot of the Death Riders be pretty effective in lots of different lists right now, and it'll be interesting to see at the end of the month if they start getting hit with some points changes, although they did just recently have a points change. They are just very, very effective and being very survivable, very fast, and just doing everything they need to do. And also, you can also like do some amazing things with their ability. I saw a unit of Death Riders be able to basically with their charge ability push through the front screen of a Seraphon army and not kill it, but push through it and then attack the slan behind, which I thought was incredibly impressive, all from basically the back line. But yeah, very, very good. And then the other list that did really well in the 6.0 section was by Dominic. Dominic was running Disciples of Tzeentch in the Zangor Coven, and he had the Morbid Conjuration. He was running Kairos, reinforced unit of Skyfires, 2 reinforced unit of Zangors, a Zangor Shaman, the Jade Obelisk, and then 2 units of Zangor Skyfires, but not reinforced as well. Jade Obelisk is a super interesting choice here. I'm assuming it's just what fit in at 100 points, right? That's pretty much like what I can imagine. Kairos obviously super good for doing battle tactics. Skyfires were honestly a surprise pick for me in their quality and how much you see them used. 340 points is great for like the level of output that they deliver, at the range that they deliver it, at the speed that they deliver it. And obviously this is the much more aggro version of Tzeentch, but we've seen Tzeentch feature a lot, which I think is very cool. Very, very cool to see. And yeah, very interesting. So those are our two 6.0s. Let's go look at all of the other people. Because it's normally we do 5.0s and 4.1s. In this situation, we're going to do 6.0s and 5.1s. I think that's a little bit easier. Otherwise, we start getting into like 70 lists, which will just be pretty boring for everybody. Okay, let's look at the other results. Patrick, by the way, I need just to be really clear because I think I was a little unfair before. Patrick also undefeated, but got himself a draw here, and he's also from one of my favorite gaming clubs, the Wienerwerfer Wapplers, who are just brilliant. Anyway. So Patrick was running the Slaves of Darkness army with the Godswrath Warband battle formation with Forbidden Power as a manifestation law. There's Be'lakor, a reinforced unit of Chaos Chosen with the Mark of Nurgle, Chaos Furies, Dark Earth Fell Riders, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and a unit of Varangard with the Mark of Khorne. And what's really fun is I'm actually in the Slaves of Darkness chat on WhatsApp, and you wouldn't think that the entire list writing process could just be 700 people arguing whether or not your Chaos Chosen get Nurgle or Khorne, but apparently it can be. But either way, obviously, Fight Twice is crazy good. Great armor save, super good, very effective. Matthias Brinker only lost 1 game, so we're now into the 5.1 section. Was running Nighthorn in the Deathstalker's battle formation with the Morbid Conjuration, Alrak, 2 reinforced unit of Blade Guys and a Scriptor Mortis, and then Reignor the Grim Healer and another reinforced unit of Blade Guys Revs, reinforced unit Hexwraiths and Hexwraiths. As I've said before, 60, 70 bodies with unrenderable 4-up saves that move fast and fight well is very, very effective. Honor to Matthias. Then Andreas was running Destruction and was running the Squigglanch battle formation with the Dank manifestations. He had Skregrot, he had 3 reinforced unit of Rotgut Troggoths for 18 Rotguts, a Squig Boss, a unit of Boingrot Bounders, and 2 reinforced Squig Herd. So not too dissimilar to what the list was previously and still very effective, although he did lose a game. Lockie, who is via news, is a Kiwi, so he's from New Zealand but living in Germany at the time, was running Thagqual, was running Skaven in the Warpcog Convocation. He had Thanquol on Bone Ripper. He had 6 Storm Fiends. Have I got that right? 6 Storm Fiends and 6 Rattling Guns. And then he had a Vermalord Deceiver and 20 Clan Rats and 2 lots of 10 Night Runners with the Kronspine Incarnate. Night Runners, obviously super effective. When I talked about it in the review, I really did think you'd see a lot of Night Runners because they're just excellent for battle tactics. They're a little expensive compared to some of the other choices in the game, like Hunters of Haunchy, but they do the job. The Deceiver, super cool, and also Thanquol in here as well. Really shocking me, but very cool. And Stormfiend's very excellent. And Skaven, that's Skaven, ladies and gentlemen. The Skaven art, very good Skaven in the 5-1 section. So I think maybe people need to sit down a moment. Anyway, Alexander was running Disciples of Tzeentch. He was running Kairos. He was running 6 Flamers and a Chaos Spawn for the spell lore. And then he had 2 lots of 10 pink horrors, a lot of change, 2 lots of 20 blue horrors, and a Chaos Spawn in there as well. And he was taking the Morbikunj manifestation. Newt, who was over from Norway, was on Osssiarch Bone Reapers with the Horrors of the Necropolis in the Kavalos lands. He had Catacross, 3 reinforced unit of Death Riders, a unit of Immortis Guard, and a Mortars and Soul Mason. So slightly different to the winning list, but obviously those 30 Death Riders people will focus on. Tristan with his Soulblight Gravelords, that's brilliant to see up there in the 5-1 section with his Death March Battle Formation and Morbid Conjuration. Had Manfred, reinforced unit of Black Knights, Death Rattle Skeletons and Direwolves, and then a Necromancer, another reinforced unit of Black Knights, Direwolves, and a unit of Graveguard. So those 2 fast cav units, the big hit from the Graveguard and all of the utility from Manfred. That's a great win there for Tristan. He should be super proud of that. Robert was running Disciples of Tzeentch, the Weird Flame host. I think Tzeentch are in for a nerf with the manifestations of Tzeentch, Kairos, Flamers, Zangor Skyfires, Lord of Change, Blue Horrors, reinforced, and then a reinforced unit of Pink Horrors. So everything there reinforced, but again, another big Tzeentch win. Don't forget, they had not only I don't think they had any point changes, but the thing in the last battle scroll is they had a big change to one of their manifestations, and maybe that's what's pulling through for them. Tom Molders was running Disciples of Tzeentch as well. Have I just opened this twice? Nope, I haven't. He was running Disciples of Tzeentch with a manifestation or Morbid Conjuration. His general's regiment was Kairos, Blue Horrors, Chaos Spawn, Flamers of Tzeentch, the Changeling, Lord of Change, and then 3 lots of 10 pink horrors. I think I'm going to take a moment to talk about Tzeentch and Kairos. How do you win Age of Sigmar? You stand on circles and you do battle tactics. Kairos helps you do the same battle tactic twice, making it more likely for you to be able to always score points. And then horrors are great for holding objectives. Those are the 2 ways you win a game, and they have both ways to do it. So that's why Tzeentch are doing really well. There's some other things to take into account, but effectively those 2 win conditions, which are the win conditions, are something they're able to do. Andreas was running Lumineth Realm Lords in the Hurricane Temple. He had Archmage Teclis, reinforced unit of Wardens, a reinforced unit of Sentinels, a Hurricane Wind Mage, and then 5 Wind Chargers and 2 Hurricane Spirits of the Wind with the Morbid Conjuration manifestation lore. Then we had Lars Stock. And also, I think I should point out the fact that we haven't seen a lot of Lumineth since the update, which I think is a bit of a mistake because I think they're still as effective as they were previously, as we've seen here. Or not as effective as they were previously because they were broken, but effective, and they're back. And then you got Lars Stock with his Blades of Khorne in the Bloodbound Warhorde, and his manifestation lore was the Judgments of Khorne. His general's regiment was the Slaughter Priest, a reinforced unit of Blood Warriors, a reinforced unit of Skull Reapers, and then a Realm Gore Ritualist, 2 units of Blood Warriors, a Blood Secretor, and 2 units of Wrathmongers. And this is a fantastic win. I was nearly swore. A fantastic win for Lars and also the Khorne players. They'll be super stoked with that. Actually seeing them being able to get into those top tables, very excellent. And then you got Jonas, and he was running Stormcast Eternals in the Vanguard wing. His manifestation lore was the Morbid Conjuration. He has Krondis, a reinforced unit of Desolators, a unit of Gryph-hound, a unit of Praetors, that unit of Vanguard Raptors with long-strike crossbows, and then a Knight Relictor, unit of Gryph-hounds, and 2 units of Vigilers. 2 units of Vigilers in there as well. So long strikes, obviously Battle Tome long strikes, but it also feels like it's Battle Tome single dragon. Do you take Krondis or do you take Karazai? Feels to be the kind of overwhelming pick for Stormcast at the moment. But this unit of Dracothian Guard Desolators is super interesting, and I wouldn't have expected to see them in there, so that's very cool. And lastly, David Demmel with Beast of Chaos with a Marauding Brayherd battle formation. He had a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, 6 Dragon Ogres, 20 Bestigor, 10 Centigore, and then he had another 20 Bestigor and 10 Ungor in a Great Bray Shaman battle reg. Now, normally we see tons and tons of Bestigor, and there are 40 here, but the Dragon Ogres and the Shaggoth are a little bit different as well. So yeah, I would say, just looking at this particular event result, not overly diverse at the top. We do have a few different armies in there. Skaven doing well is really exciting. LRL is still up there. Soulblight up there as well, super exciting, as well as Khorne. But in amongst all of it seems to be spattered this constant Disciples of Tzeentch play, and they feel like they're very, very effective. Anyways, massive shout out to the German community as well as all the other communities who traveled to the event. It's great to see such a well-run and also really pretty-looking event being a good example of what our community should be. Massive congratulations, and I hope everyone had a great time. Our next event was run by Sean Fellows and Matthew Davison, and this was the Feast of Blades GT Age of Sigmar. It took place in Bremerton in Washington, and this means it's in the Pacific Northwest. And for the next year, every time I do talk about the Pacific Northwest, I'm going to describe it as the toughest meta in the USA. Because if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago or so now, I was at the Age of Sigmar Masters over in America, where different teams from different places all around the US competed. They broke down into like different sections, and the Pacific Northwest took the event out very convincingly. This event also featured, so not only is it already a very, very tough meta to play in, and they produced the best players, or at least this year, it also means, also at this event, there were 11 golden ticket winners, which honestly starts to kind of take the shine off it, I think, if everyone in the world has a golden ticket. But either way, 11 golden ticket winners. A golden ticket is a thing that Games Workshop encourages tournament organizers around the world to do by loading up individuals with like this big debt if they want to travel to Atlanta, which I don't know why you would, to compete in a game where compete in a tournament that doesn't believe in clocks. But either way, right? What I'm trying to say is a lot of good players, right? That's what they're doing. And here at this stoked event, Matt Beasley was able to win the event with his Skaven force. What was in his Skaven army? Well, as we can see, thanks to Matt for writing me a note here. Dear sir, hope this missive finds you well. Enclosed, please find the following selection of small miniatures representing rats. Appreciate that, Matt. Thank you. Matt, obviously, also formerly, well, still part of Team USA, the national team as well. So generally, every accolade available to throw at someone. In his Skaven list, he was running the Manifestation Law, the Forbidden Power. His general's regiment was Thanquol on Bone Ripper with 2 units of Clan Rats. Then he had a unit of Night Runners that were reinforced, and he had a reinforced unit of Rattling Guns, another unit of reinforced Rattling Guns down here, not to throw that away. So we have seen 18 last week, so now 12 feels more demure. And then a unit of Plague Monks and a Vermin Lord Warp Seer as well, which is pretty fun. Such will be me though, sorry. Okay, thank you. Just a little note as well. Anyway, Matt, it's an excellent list. Lots of shooting, lots of fighting, lots of spell power. Thanquol, a little bit better than I would have considered him to be, but I think that's because he's obviously supporting what is right now a Rattling Gun meta. Those will, I'm sure, get a points update at some point. Maybe it'll take a little bit of time, but they are very abusable in massive numbers. And if you do have an event coming up this weekend and you have the opportunity to take 18 Rattling Guns, you can. I think you'll have a great time. So very, very cool. And congratulations to Matt and everyone in Pacific Northwest. Toughest meta in the USA. Right, we're going to look at the 4-1s now, starting with everyone's favorite Meat King, Carson Whitlock, also a member of Team Pacific Northwest, and also on the Canadian team. I think he's on the Canadian team. Anyway, his list, Creme de la Creme la Cour, was a Slaves to Darkness list running the Godswrath Warband. His Manifestation Law was the Primal Energy, and his General's Regiment was Be'lakor, a reinforced unit of Varangard with the Mark of Khorne, a reinforced unit of Chosen, we'll get that out of the way, with the Mark of Nurgle, but a Chaos Sorcerer Lord with the Mark of Tzeentch, and the Mutalith Vortex Beast in this list as well for 180 points. I would say it's fair to say that when you have 6 Varangard and 10 Chosen and Be'lakor, everything else is just for flavor. But the Mutalith Vortex Beast does have a pretty reliable opportunity to use its Rampage, which you can see here, the Aura of Mutation, every turn to affect a unit within 12 inches. And the results that you probably want to get are Trog Brains, because you roll 2d6, and if you're near a Tzeentch Wizard, and if you roll a 6, you can choose any of the other results. If you roll a 3, target cannot use commands for the rest of the turn, and 5, a unit suffers D6 mortal damage, then heal D6. That's pretty effective, especially making it so that a unit can't use all-out defense against Varangard or Chosen. That's pretty cool for 180 points. Sure, you can have more Varangard or more Chosen, potentially, but, you know, whatever. He's just there doing stuff, and I think that's interesting. Control score of 5, that's also cool as well. So a very unique and fun little list. There's also a unit of Chaos Legionnaires in here as well. So very cool. Very nice to see a mix-up on that list. Mason Knox was running the Amber Herd, which was a Beastie Chaos list with a Marauding Bray Herd, Battle Formation, and Forbidden Power. He had a Great Bray Shaman, then he had 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Reinforced Bestigor for 80 Bestigor, and then 2 units of Ungor, and a Great Bray Shaman. So there you go. There's actual spam if anyone's interested, but congratulations to Mason. Then Alexander Gonzalez was running Nighthorn, and he was running the Deathstalker's Battle Formation. His Manifestation Law, his army's also beautiful, by the way. Covered it at AoS Masters, which was the event in the USA. He was running Manifestation Law Primal Energy, and he had Aurat the Drowner, a reinforced unit of Plaguegeist Revenants, a unit of Grimghast Reapers, a reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, Ragnar the Grim Hailer, another reinforced unit of Plaguegeist Revenants, and a Cairn Wraith as well. Congratulations, Alex is a long-time Age of Sigmar player playing on the top tables, running a great list. Unsurprised to see that do well. Alexander Frias was running a Blades of Khorne list. His list is called Carson is Beautiful. In the Khornate Legion, his Manifestation Law was the Judgments of Khorne. He had Scarbrand, unit of Blood Warriors, Bloodthirster and Fed Fury, Fleshhound, Skull Taker, Slaughter Priest, Blood Warriors, and the Claws of Karanak. This would mean this is our second Blades of Khorne list to go on 4-1 this weekend, or 5-1, whatever you want. So that's pretty cool. Nice to see that out there, and they're very different as well. Those are all of the events. If you are around the Pacific Northwest area, then you should go and hang out with all of these people. They're super lovely, and I know for a fact that they are very welcoming, and they want you to come and play games with them. So whether or not you're on that side of the Canadian border or on the other side, on the American side of the border, then go and join in and go play some games with these people because they're super fun. Our next event takes us over to the Winter Slaughter 2024, taking place in CO, which I think is Colorado. And we have got 20 players, I'm pretty certain, battling it out in Colorado to be the champs. But the champ was Thomas Burgett with his Nighthorn Deathstalkers with the Morbid Conjuration, Reikenor, Hexwraiths, Reinforced, Night Shrouds, 3 minimum units of Hexwraiths, Aurat the Drowner, Reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, and another unit of Hexwraiths. So in total, I think that takes us up to 40 Hexwraiths in this list. So congratulations to him. That's excellent. And then Wyatt Moran was our first 4-1 with Cities of Sigmar. He was running the Ironworld Guild Army. He was running the Morbid Conjuration. His General's Regiment was a Freeguild Marshal, the Freeguild Command Corps. He had Alchemite Warforger, a Freeguild unit of reinforced unit of Fusiliers, Callous and Toll, a Rune Lord, a unit of Hammerers, Sorceress, and 2 units of Executioners. This is actually super common in Age of Sigmar 4 now, where you're getting these very specified regiments, Sorceress and Executioners, Rune Lords and Hammerers, and they're just so effective. And the human side of it just isn't as popular. But congratulations to Wyatt, that's excellent. Those are our only 4-1s and 5-0s. It was all taking place in this Hyatt Hotel out here in Colorado. I'm not really sure what happened in Colorado, but this was also taking place in Denver with 3 million people who live in Denver, which is pretty cool. And only 13% of the pipes have got over safe levels of lead, which is pretty cool. So there you go. Congratulations to Denver. Our next event is the AoS GT food drive at Layton Gaming. Very cute, very lovely thing. 15 players battling out in the USA. Organized by, I'm just going to shout this out, by Layton Gaming. All of the proceeds from the event are going to a charity food drive or a food bank that they've got locally, which is very nice. They're based in Florida, which turns out has the highest amount of lead pipes in any other state in the country, which is pretty crazy that there's that many. Anyway, we're going to go and look at who did well, and no one got a 5-0, but in the 4-1 section, Mike Flynn with Carriage and Overlords was able to get his 4-1. Congratulations to Mike. Yeah, Dreckie Flynn, a Frigate, a Code Right, a Reinforced unit of Engine Riggers, an Aetheric Navigator, an Ironclad, a Reinforced unit of Thunderers, and another Reinforced unit of Thunderers. This is cool. It's very fun to see. Florida guns. all go hand in hand. Well done to Mike. Shout out to Mike. Also, he's from the Wicked Dicey crew. I love those guys. Jonathan Roberts, was running Stormcast Eternals, also got a 4-1. He's running Celestin Prime in the Vanguard wing, a unit of Gryph-hounds, a unit of Vanguard Hunters, 2 Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows, 2 reinforced units, sorry. So that's 12 Vanguard Raptors long strike crossbows. Lord Celestin on Stardrake, absolutely MVP, top pick right now. Praetors and Vigilers. I'm loving this lesson on Stardrake. Very good, especially potentially into like a Slaves to Darkness meta. Not bad. Not necessarily so good into a Tzeentch list, but like whatever. Dan Helwig was running Magic and Nurgle in the Taliban and Nurgle with the manifestation of the primal energy. His general's regiment was a great and clean one. He had Nurglings and Sloppy Barpiper. Then he had Sporksbox Scrivener, 2 units of Plague Bearers that were reinforced. And he had Horticulate Slimmix, Beast of Nurgle, and a unit of Plague Drones as well. So that's cool. It's also nice to see Nurgle doing well. Finally, Noel was running Tzeentch. In the Morbid Conjuration, he had Karis Fate Weaver, a Changecaster, Chaos Spawn, reinforced unit of Flamers, Pink Horrors, Lord of Change, Blue Horrors, and Zangor Enlightened. I think it's fair to say at this stage, we definitely need to be addressing how good Tzeentch are. Hope everyone at the AoS GT Food Drive did well. And I want to say thanks to them for helping support your local community and getting some money in for some poor people needing food. Our next event takes us over to Utah. Not a lot of lead poisoning in Utah, it turns out. Anyway, Utah Open had 14 players. So Utah Open was organized by Kicker. Kicker is formerly, so it's down here, Kicker is formerly the event organizer for Frontline Gaming. He's left to start his own event business. So here you go. So this could be a big deal. Could be like he's a professional like event organizer running around. So this could be a big deal for him, making sure events are well organized and well run, separate to the FLG brand. So I'm sure he'll be happy about that. So it's a Utah Open. Anyway, it wasn't super busy as the first one. Only 14 players battled it out. But our winner was Russ Tanner with Gloomspite Gitz. Gloomspite Gitz, he was running Squigalanch, and his manifestation was the Dark Manifestations. He had Scragrot and 18 Rock Guts, Squig Boss, and 2 reinforced Squig Herds. Very effective. Very, very effective. And then Matt Fee was our only 4-1 with Nighthorn. He was running Deathstalkers and the Morbid Conjuration, and he had Lady Alinda. He had 2 reinforced unit of Plaguegeist Revenants, a reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, unit of Dreadside Harridans, and then Alrak, Chainras, Lord Executioner, and the Mimron Banshees in that list as well. So I don't think we're necessarily learning tons about the meta from this particular event, but it's nice to know that there are more events potentially being put on professionally around the US for the US community. Our last event takes us over to New Zealand. We're in Christchurch right now. 12 people battled it out to become the champions. It took place, I think, at the Stanmore Cafe and Canteen. Can't be 100% certain on that, but pretty certain. Anyway, it looks banging. Absolutely 11 out of 10. And our only 5-0 and then no 4-1s was Sam Smith of the Christchurch Goonies. I think that's their name. Great gaming club name. And running Gloomspite Kits. He was running the Squigalanch, Battle Formation, and Morbid Conjuration. His general's regiment was Squig Boss, the Gobblepalooza twice, 2 Gobblepalooza, Squig Herd, Dankhold Troll Boss, and then 2 reinforced unit of Rock Guts and another unit of Rock Guts. So not quite 18, only 15 Rock Guts, but double Gobblepalooza, which is cool. And that is our final event for the weekend. Not forgetting, obviously, there was those 90 people playing in the team event here in the UK at Warhammer World. So a pretty interesting weekend. Obviously, those top tables feel like Tzeentch are very dominant, with Bone Reapers also being very effective as well. But don't avoid. Obviously, that's like the big title. That's happening. That's true. But underneath that, we've seen Soulblight do well this week. We've seen Khorne in there a couple of times. Looks like Rock Guts are still on the menu as well, which seems like a thing. And also, we've seen quite a few small little events around the globe. Little 20, 15-person events at all these different locations. And obviously, this absolutely stunning, massive event over in Germany, which is cool to see. And I think the thing to remember is when I first started doing Age of Sigmar coverage a long time ago now, the German scene was very much about one-dayers, and there were very few 2-day events. And then they've built that up over the course of years and years to the point where the German community is absolutely huge. And you do have all of these other communities coming to play at this kind of big marquee event as well. So I think they, as a community, should be really proud. But a bunch of you should also take that information on board And making these small little events or running these small little events, which eventually could become massive events, but don't worry if they don't. I think small, like 10 to 30 person events are just as valid as 200 people events. And sure, there's more spectacle and pageantry around these massive events, but there's also it's also great and wonderful to see. So I want to say thank you to the Raccoon Rumble and all of those organizers for being like our kind of like goal, and all the little event organizers for doing something wonderful as well. Either way, thanks for watching the Sigmar Stats Center. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe. And if you would like to support me, you can join my Patreon, where I've got a cool little Discord of fun people who say nice stuff and are pretty fun to hang out with. And you should join us because it'd be cool to see you. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you soon.